are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York girl. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, it's like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, it is the New York Knicks podcast, episode 620. We have done 619 of these, Mark.
Okay, well, you're trying to make me feel good or bad?
I don't know. I really don't know.
We don't, I guess we do a lot of these shows. Knicks keep playing basketball games. Neither of us are that successful at it, but let's just keep rolling with it, just like the Knicks keep rolling with it.
We keep saying we're going to record until the Knicks win a championship, and so far we're at a stalemate. It's a war of attrition at this point.
It's a war of attrition, the best kind of war, but the Knicks have started preseason. Tell me, Jay, were you way too overenthusiastic for a meaningless preseason game?
I would say you were definitely more enthusiastic than me.
I was really, really excited.
Ronaldo Balkman ruined preseason for me. When he scored 30-something points, and I was like, oh, yes, he took a leap where this is going to be awesome, and then nothing. I was like, now I don't trust anything that happens in preseason ever.
Yeah, I remember that game. I remember watching it being like, oh, he might be good.
Yeah.
Not so much. But the nice thing about preseason, well, a couple nice things. I mean, there are a lot of nice things. The Knicks are playing basketball. I don't care if they were playing against the Celtics, like C unit. The Celtics, for whatever reason, preseason, the Celtics were playing back-to-back nights, which just makes no sense whatsoever. So the Celtics had played the night before, had all their starters play the night before, and against the Knicks, they played their C League team. But whatever. Who cares?
What are they doing with preseason? Because the Celtics played back-to-back, and meanwhile, the Knicks get 5 days in between games.
The Celtics are playing, I think, tonight. The Celtics will have played like 3 games in like a span of a week, and the teams only play 4 preseason games total. It's
a really weird schedule. The Knicks are playing Monday, Saturday.
Yeah, it's a really weird schedule. I get these games don't matter, and they don't, but like it's just still a weird schedule. You know what was nice about the game? It was nice, or maybe disappointing. I expected Tibbs to play all the starters 48 minutes because winning preseason games really matters. Were you shocked to learn that Tibbs did not play everyone did not go all out to win the game?
That is true. I did say the Knicks have 5 days off between games, but then they play a back-to-back. Thanks, Rob.
Right. Why? I guess I don't know what the benefit of that is, but
I don't think there is one.
But the burning question on everyone's mind, I think would you say this is the biggest storyline in the preseason? Is Jacob Toppin better than Obi Toppin? What do you think, Jay?
Oh my God. Yeah, let's do a 20-minute segment about the potential Knicks 15th man in a 9-man rotation. Maybe a 10-man rotation.
There's no way in God's green earth that Jacob Toppin plays like more than a minute in any game this season, clearly. But I saw someone posting today about how Jacob Toppin had an awesome debut. And I was like, I watched the game. What are they talking about?
I mean, he did something.
He was fine. And actually, they asked Tibbs about it, and he had said Obi's a better offensive player. I'm paraphrasing, but Obi's a better offensive player, but Jacob's still a pretty good offensive player, and he's a better defensive player. And just like basically, I don't know that he wasn't really knocking Obi, just saying positive about Jacob.
That's fine. I mean,
yeah,
like I said, it's somebody who's not going to be in the rotation. So really, I'd rather not do a long extended segment on.
I have 40 more minutes on Jacob. So anyway, so we actually have an interview with Jacob's his basketball coach in the YMCA. Do you want to? Or is this not a good segment for the rest of the show?
We only get the biggest names for our interviews.
So today we're going to discuss the Knicks preseason game. We're going to discuss some players, trade targets that are available or maybe not available. We're going to talk about what else do you want to talk about today, Jay?
Well, we can talk a little bit about the game that just happened.
Yeah,
we had some familiar faces show up. We could talk about the Battle of the Goliaths, Wembayama versus Chet Holmgren. ESPN did their top 100 players, and Kai Jones destroyed his career.
So some things from some storylines from the game. The Knicks won 114-107. Hopefully we'll be reporting on many more victories to come. And the Knicks are going to be very good this year. We got to see Dante DiVincenzo. What did you think?
Very, very slow first half. He started looking like an actual basketball player in the second half. Again, not worried. First game with a new team. It was preseason.
I mean, it doesn't. A lot of people, also shooters, like, you got to get kind of warmed up. Like, people miss shots, especially early in the preseason. There was one play where DiVincenzo, he was on, I think, the right side of the basket. Mm-hmm. He was wide open, maybe 8 or 9 feet from the basket. And instead of just taking a jump shot to, like, I don't think he could have driven to the basket. Like, the guy, like, the defense was there, but, like, he had, like, an opening. Instead of taking a nice 2, he passed the ball away. Mm-hmm. He passed out to, like, a 3-point shooter and then whatever. And all I kept thinking was, like, this is the same crap that Josh Hart did last year. I like the instinct to want to, like, not hog the ball and get the teammates involved. But I also think if you are 10 feet from the basket alone, you have to take a jump shot there and hit the shot. That should be automatic for an NBA player. And you can't pass that up.
Agreed, but that's just today's NBA. I've seen guys who are one step from the basket swing it all the way back out. It's
so
basically a 3-point
annoying.
shooting contest.
You're right. It is annoying, but, like, it's also the one knock I had about Josh Hart last year was I felt like he was a little bit too unselfish at times, mm-hmm. which overall probably balances out. And I'm just hoping DiVincenzo, like, I want Hart to be looking for a shot more this season. I hope DiVincenzo does the same thing. I guess I want the offense to. I want guys to be looking for their basket. I thought another guy who I really want to look for their offense this year, Grimes. I don't think he shot the ball for the first, like, 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then when he was on the court without, like, the forces of gravity that are Randall and Barrett, and Brunson, he still didn't seem to be looking for his offense. And he had a couple shots, and, like, not like he had a terrible game. I just want everyone to the guys that aren't the main guys to look for their offense more, to have a more balanced attack.
Yeah, there was a long stretch where he didn't even touch the ball, like a very long stretch. I think like 15 minutes. It's an
interesting team. Like, not weird. I mean, interesting with the depth that, like, everyone in the 9-man rotation can, outside the centers, can handle the ball, can play some defense. Like, they can do kind of everything, mm-hmm. which is nice. And you don't have too many guys who are really me first guys. Everyone seems to like the pass. I just hope that I want the Knicks to identify the shot faster on offense and take it without being. You want your team to pass, but you also want your team not to, like, avoid shooting open shots.
You know who took a good amount of shots?
Evan Fournier?
He did. What did you think about that?
McBride actually took a ton of shots also. Fournier didn't really, like, he's out of the rotation. He was interviewed recently, and he just said, I can still play. He wants to play. He's angry about it. I don't know, angry at locker room issue, but, like, he's angry about it.
I would be too.
Yeah, how could you not? Basically, he thinks he's, like, still a highly skilled player. He thinks he can contribute, and he's got a decent point. It's just that, like, right now with the team, he's out of the rotation. But either way, it made sense to give him real minutes in the preseason. I mean, Josh Hart was out also. Injuries happen every season. He's a solid guy to step in if there's an injury. You need his contract when a trade happens, or you just need him to look good in, like, when the chances he gets, so some other team wants to trade for him.
Yeah. I mean,
do you think there's an Evan Fournier problem?
It's not a problem. I feel like he's definitely going to be frustrated. He averaged 17, 18 points a game, like, right before he got to the Knicks.
Yeah,
and
he wasn't awesome in FIBA this summer for France either.
He was.
He had one good game, and otherwise wasn't very good for them either.
But I mean, he went from averaging a good amount of points, playing a lot of minutes, 30 minutes a game, to not playing at all, and he's only 30. It's not like he's this really old, injured guy. So
Sometimes you sign contracts, and sometimes you fall out of the rotation.
Yeah.
It's the risk in the NBA. The Knicks need his contract for a trade. If they're ever going to swing a trade, they need that contract.
I just don't get the point of holding on to this contract for 2-3 years and just never making a trade.
I think this is the last year of the contract.
It is. So
Yeah. So he last year he started off in the rotation, fell out of the rotation. They held on to him for one more year because they're hoping to make a trade by the deadline. I imagine if the deadline comes, it's also like if you have him on the roster, you might as well like keep him there because you also might need the depth if guys get injured.
No, I agree. I don't think it's a huge problem. It's just weird. It's a weird situation.
I mean, when Tibbs was asked about this, I guess we covered this last show, but Tibbs just said, "Here was our record without him. Let's move on."
Yeah.
I mean, winning trumps everything. If you're no longer contributing to winning on your team, you're out of the rotation. It happens to everyone.
I think it's pretty messed up to blame that whole turnaround just on Fournier, but whatever.
They found something that worked without him. Not necessarily his fault they were losing, but they made it work without him.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to fit him back in because you feel bad for him. The goal is to win games.
All right, what'd you think about Sims at the 4?
I thought that was fun. Can we never do that in an NBA game with?
Yeah, let's try that all preseason and then scrap it as soon as
do you
game 1
think
starts.
we are going to lose our goddamn minds because there's no backup power forward, and the natural thing to do would be give RJ or Josh Hart those minutes, but Tibbs is an old school guy and will end up giving those minutes only to iHart or Sims?
We haven't had, I think, enough of a look with iHart playing the 4. Sims doesn't work.
iHart doesn't work also because first off, he's the backup to Mitch. You need him to be able to play 20 plus minutes at center. Also, do you really think he can play power forward? It's like that can be a good lineup. The guy can't shoot from far away either. He can't really shoot threes.
He can shoot from farther away than Sims can.
I mean, he can shoot the ball, and Sims can't shoot the ball.
Right.
I don't want iHart playing the 4 either. He's not really the look of iHart playing the 4 and Mitch playing the 5, or I guess moving Sims to the 5. It's like workable in like spurts, but it's not a good lineup.
I think matchup, unless you're playing this huge team, like Cleveland's really big. That's probably not going to work with RJ or Hart at the 4 against Cleveland. But
It's a little more challenging, I agree.
Against a lot of other teams, I think you can get away with that, and I think it'll be fine.
I would you mean get away with Josh Hart and RJ there?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean also even against Cleveland, the bulk of the minutes go to Randall at the 4, so you're not really that. If Randall gets injured, Jay, I think I didn't put this in the notes, or I did put this in the notes, but let's rank the top 5 extended injuries that would kill us the most this season.
Okay.
I'm gonna go my number 1 guy who hurts I guess Randall has to be the number 1 guy. Because you don't have a real power forward other than him on the roster.
I'm going Brunson.
Brunson's number 1?
Yeah.
I think they could ride losing Brunson. And again, I'm not talking about for the playoffs. I'm just talking about maybe a month stretch.
Mm-hmm.
You think Brunson's number 1. I think Randall, just because they don't really have another power forward. Whereas IQ could fill in for Brunson.
Okay.
Number 2.
Number 2 is probably Randall, yeah.
Okay. My number 2 here is Mitchell Robinson. I think we really need a healthy Mitchell Robinson. And we can make do without him, but I think he is going to... I've decided he is the guy who's going to take his game to the next level this season. I think the team looks so much better with Mitchell Robinson on the court. When he's playing well, the Knicks are really hard to beat.
Yeah, he was going to be my number 3, so I agree with that. I just put him at 3 because you still have iHart and Sims, so it's definitely a downgrade in defense, but it is an upgrade in offense. It's just a different look. I don't think it's as devastating.
And I think Brunson would be 3, and I don't think we have to rank after that, but
well, Andrew
everyone else
says,
is a little more replaceable because we have so many guards, you can fill in without the guys.
Andrew says Archidokono, or however you say his name.
Yes. He is. Why did the Knicks bring him back?
As you can see, I'm so excited about him rejoining the team that I didn't even bother to learn how to say his name.
Did he not? He didn't even play in the preseason game.
No, no, he did not.
He didn't play. Isaiah Roby, our quote unquote backup power forward, didn't play because the coach is like, yeah, these guys aren't really guys on the team.
Well, I mean, 6 guys got to get cut by like the end of next week.
Yeah, maybe you're trying to see which guys are gonna. Isaiah Roby sucks. He's not a guy who's gonna play real minutes. Our kid, whatever, Dono, like he's good compared to a normal human being, but compared to an NBA player, he's not good either. Like he can't be given serious minutes either.
Yeah.
We're screwed if any of these guys actually are like we have to rely on them for any extended period of time.
Yeah, the only time we'll see them is when the Knicks are up by like 25 with 2 minutes left.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you think? So the Sims thing? Do you think we're gonna see a lot of Sims at the 4, or just like this is the preseason is the last time we'll really see this?
I think unless preseason games 2 through 4 look a lot different, this may be a very short experiment.
Yeah, Sims. It was interesting. Also, they pointed out in the game. I think maybe Wally said that Tibbs praised the guy who got the most praise from camp so far was Sims. What could Sims have done to get so much praise from Tibbs? Like, I mean, I like Tibbs is like, wow, he can jump really high. Let's talk about it.
He probably improved on defense.
Yeah, I mean that's probably it.
I think you could literally like not know how to shoot the ball, but if you're playing good defense, Tibbs is really, really into your play.
Unless your name is Frank Ntilikina.
I mean, Frank he defended okay.
No, I'm saying he was a good defender, and Tibbs couldn't care less. He didn't want to play him.
Yeah, he wasn't good.
Jay, how many Knicks have fans screamed for playing time, and then they left the team, and they were good when they left?
Not very many. But the thing is, people get so passionate in their defense of them, almost to the point where they act like you're offending them. It's a weird phenomenon.
Yeah, I mean it's totally weird, and like fans have gotten obsessed with Frank Ntilikina. They've gotten obsessed with Knox. They've gotten obsessed, not as much with Knox because everyone kind of thought he was bad.
There was still some Knox truthers out there, though.
People recently got obsessed with Cam, and the most recent one, which we're going to hear about all season, is Obi. Mm-hmm. Fans were like, they're not like they play every other young player, and Obi would still play, and they'd be like, they're not playing until Obi plays 50 minutes a game. They're not playing the young players. You're like, most of the guys they're playing are younger than Obi. Whatever. I posted a video. I posted on Twitter, which you saw. Well, it was a video of Obi from one of the preseason games where he just stood in the corner and just kind of shrugged his shoulders after not getting the ball passed to him. And I was like, Tibbs is forcing Obi to sit in the corner again while he's on the Pacers.
That was a good tweet. I'm still calling it Twitter, by the way.
What'd you say?
I'm still going to call it Twitter forever.
Okay, yeah. But do you think we are going to regret losing Obi? Like, is it really going to be something? And I don't mean one good night. Are the Knicks going to really regret losing Obi? Or were fans making too much of how good he was?
No, the thing is, Randall's better, so Obi would never be the starter. He would just never be the starter. And I think Randall's a lot better, which means he's going to play about 34 minutes a game, which means Obi is maxing out at 14 minutes a game. I mean, that's it. Just think like you can't get that upset about a guy who's going to play 14 minutes a game.
Obi's always going to be a mediocre to poor defender. He's always going to be a guy who's going to be limited offensive ability, like limited offensive skill set. He can do some stuff, and he'll get you some points some nights. But over the long season, you're going to be like, hey, this guy's a solid energy guy off the bench.
I like Obi. He's fun. He's fun to root for. Just not amazing, especially with the 8th pick. And I'm not going to go on to that whole rant again. He did play almost 16 minutes last season, which is 2 more than you'd expect.
I don't know if you've gone on social media recently and just like the world events, there's the war with Israel, Palestine. People feel really passionately. And the only thing I point this out only because Jay feels more passionately passionately about how the Knicks screwed up this 8th pick more than anyone feels about their countries. That's how passionately Jay feels about this pick.
This is probably the defining moment in my Knicks fandom, and I just can't. I'm not going to get over it.
Jay cannot let it go. I've let go the Knox pick. I mean, not let go as much as you can. I've let go the Obi pick. It is what it is. But
I told you on draft night. I said, if Halliburton is good, you're never going to hear the end of this ever.
We both had said before the draft, and again, well, that Obi was a dumb pick. We heard the rumor the Knicks were trying to trade up for him. It didn't make sense, but anyway. But yeah, more importantly, Jay, the Knicks have assets. There are guys available. There are trades that could happen. Tell me what you think about these trade targets. First of all, should the Knicks still be looking to swing a big trade?
Only if it's the right fit. I really feel like...
You don't want to trade for the wrong fit?
I mean, has that ever stopped the Knicks before?
No, it hasn't.
Their big trade was to get Melo, who played the same position as Amari.
Yeah, fair point. Okay. Do you think they're going to swing a trade by the February deadline?
Not unless a star pulls a Harden and asks out. By the way, I read that the Clippers offered cap filler and a first-round pick and 1 pick swap for Harden, and that's it. They didn't even want to give up, Terrence Mann?
They didn't want to give up Terrence Mann?
No, they just wanted to match salaries with garbage and a pick. And
the Clippers are like, okay, that's fine. Take the better offer you have. Oh, you don't have a better offer.
Well,
wait.
That's what they said. They said they want Harden, but they don't feel that they should offer anymore because 0 other teams are bidding against them. That's what happens when you try and force a trade 3 years in a row. Nobody wants you.
It's amazing how many guys who are really, really good at basketball. I mean, whatever you want to say about Harden's diminishing skills, he's still really good at basketball. Mm-hmm. Who have such little trade value. Harden, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, I guess, though he's been worse at basketball. There's so many guys that are just they have no trade value. It's amazing.
James Harden is the Michael Jordan of ruining his own career for no reason.
You don't think Kai Jones is?
Okay, let's talk about Kai Jones. Out of the blue, this guy just tweets, I'm requesting a trade from the Hornets.
Do you remember?
Hashtag GOAT life. I'm like, dude, you're a second-year guy.
Did you really say hashtag GOAT life?
Yes. I'm like, dude, you're a second-year guy who averaged 3 points a game. What are you doing?
Do you remember Kai Jones's connection to the Knicks?
Yeah, the Knicks actually technically drafted Kai Jones with the 19th pick.
He was the 19th pick, right? Or the 21st pick?
19th pick.
19th pick, which was a Knicks pick. The Knicks traded that pick for the pick that was...
Grimes.
I guess the pick that was used to get Cam later on.
Right.
And in Kai Jones' defense, I haven't seen him in practice. I don't know what he does buzz, but people complained about Obi's minutes. Kai Jones had almost no time on the floor.
Yeah, he averaged 5-6 minutes, something crazy.
Yeah, I get on some level him being like, I've been in the league for what, I guess 2 full seasons.
Yeah,
3 full seasons.
He played 12 minutes a game actually. 3 minutes his first season, 12 the second.
Okay, then his minutes aren't even that different from Obi's, but less than Obi. But either way, I can
Should
get
I bring
like
up
him
the fact that he shot 21% from 3?
Anyway, so what happened, Jay? What happened when you come out on Twitter and say, or X or whatever the hell, and you say, I am demanding a trade, and not understanding how you actually do that?
Well, the very next day, it was Woj tweeted that he no longer has a job. He got waived by the Hornets.
In fairness, isn't that the best case scenario for him?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, realistically, if a trade has to happen, Charlotte determines where he goes. Now he can just sign wherever.
Now he could choose from all the teams that want to have him on their roster.
He's got some potential. In some ways, I'd be like, oh, the Knicks should take a flyer on him. But I 100% know teams will not give him a minute this season to play. And he's not, and Kai Jones is not going to be comfortable sitting in the G League all season. So,
well, Well, he was posting stuff on social media all summer where he either looked like he was on drugs or he looked like he was insane. And it was not a good selling point.
Did they always say goat life?
Some of them did. It was, you got to look some of these up. They're wild.
Okay. So anyway, goat life, if anyone wants to sign him, he's a free agent now. And I'm sure teams are lining up.
Cape says Kai for Sims.
No, because Kai's going to be a dick when he doesn't play.
True.
At least Sims doesn't get Kai is going to immediately start complaining and be a locker room issue. Sims seems like he's happy to be there.
Sims has never tweeted goat life.
I don't get the sense that Sims is super unhappy with his role in the team.
Right.
It's solid to have. It's nice. You also need players in your team that are very happy with their more limited roles and are ready to step in if needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, trade targets. I'm going to give you some trade targets, Jay. Can you rank these in order from 1 to 4?
Okay.
Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've heard of him. I don't know if he's been connected to the Knicks before. Karl Anthony Towns, James Harden, who we've just discussed, and OG Anunoby.
Okay.
Whatever you pronounce it.
If you've listened to the show, you know Harden's my number 4.
If you were listening to the show 2 minutes ago.
Right. Anunoby would be 3.
I think Anunoby has 1 year left on his deal, so he's going to be a free agent.
Right.
Mitchell, I think, has 1 more season after this.
2 would be Towns because that contract is insane. He's making like what, $60 million a year or something.
Okay, let's just say Towns was making, and I know he's not, but he's making $30 million. How would he fit in on this team? Forgetting what you have to offer for him. Just let's say somehow you got him just for draft pick, which would not happen. I'm just going purely theoretical. Somehow his contract's $30 million, and somehow you got him just for picks and Miles McBride's contract or team trade. Let's just say that you pull up some miracle trade. How does he fit in?
He's a stretch big man, so Mitch would have to go. You'd be
okay, good. So
be swapping.
Nothing Tibbs likes more than getting a guy who didn't play defense for him the last time he coached him to not play defense for him a second time.
Well, it's not like you gave me a amazing lineup of guys to rank. I mean,
no. I'm just saying. Nick, that's fair point. I feel like the only way to make that trade with Minnesota is to trade Randall, switch out Randall for Towns, and put Towns at your 4.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I like Towns more than Randall.
Yeah, no, I agree. Towns probably has a better 3-point shot, but he hasn't exactly blown it up in the postseason. I know Randall hasn't either, but he makes twice as much.
If you don't like Randall's effort on defense, wait till you see Towns.
Right. So yeah,
if you don't like Randall's motor, just watch.
Donovan is clear number 1 in this.
Yeah, clear number 1. I might put OG as my number 2 because I feel like he just fits in much better with his team.
Yeah, I feel like Toronto is making like they have this like super duper all-star, and I'm like, he's good, but maybe calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean the problem is that all these guys are gonna. Well, I guess the price for Harden would be very high, but so let's just say you could get the same trade that the Clippers are offering, and you can get James Harden for that because his value is so low. Other guys are going to cost a lot more. Do you consider him anymore?
No.
Oh, by the way, OG, I'm wrong. OG is not a free agent until after next season.
Okay. I mean, he's good. OG's good.
Yeah.
I might actually change it and go with him over Towns. I mean, OG
purely fit perspective on our roster.
It's a better
OG
fit in him
better.
making 18 or 19 as opposed to like 50 and 60. Like, yeah.
I don't see our coach. Like, I feel like if you're gonna trade for Towns, then you have to. I mean, people might be fine firing Tibbs, but I don't think Tibbs is gonna be the coach for him. I don't think they meshed that amazingly in Minnesota. I just don't think you do that again.
Right.
And I also think a defensive first coach is not gonna like Cat. Mitchell, would you? Does it come to pass as Mitchell end up on the Knicks? and cut in like 2 years after being free agent. Like
He might just wait to
becomes
be
a free agent and then forces a sign and trade to the Knicks. Did you see that scenario?
I could. He doesn't seem like he's all in Cleveland.
It's interesting that he hasn't signed an extension already because Cleveland is probably up for the extension.
If the Knicks just stomp the Cavs in the playoffs again, he's gone.
Okay, so we talked about those guys. I have 2 guys for you who are riskier.
Okay.
But if they stayed healthy, they'd be huge. Should the Knicks take a bigger swing? Go for guys that are just like they're broken, but some guys who have injury issues. Would you take a trade for, would you rather have Zion or Paul George? Paul George, less risky as far as injury than Zion, obviously. Does not have the upside of Zion.
Paul George.
Yeah.
Paul
George would fit in like a healthy Paul George. I know he's 32 or 33, but he would fit in really well in this roster.
He would.
You got Paul George at your 3. Suddenly, I feel like we're a much stronger team.
When he plays, he hasn't.
No, I said if healthy. I'm using the qualification.
I know,
yeah.
but like he hasn't been healthy since like 2019.
You know, guys are healthy until they're unhealthy or unhealthy until they're healthy. It happens. I'm just thinking, like, should the Knicks take bigger risks?
Guys don't usually get injured for 4 straight years, are 34 years old, and then suddenly start playing a lot of games.
Grant Hill. Grant Hill was injured for, I think, 30 straight years and suddenly had, like, the last 6 years of his career were totally healthy.
Yeah, but he went to Phoenix. Phoenix has the best medical staff in the league. The Knicks...
Buy some medical staff. I don't know.
I don't know why the Knicks don't get, like, Miami... Just... Dolan has a lot of money. Pay Miami's scouting staff and Phoenix's physical trainers. Like, there you go.
Would you take a big swing for a guy like Zion with the idea that obviously he's had some injury issues, but his upside, he's still very young. Embiid had lots of injuries in the first couple of years and has been mostly healthy since. If you get Zion, he's healthy, huge ceiling. Like that makes us that if Zion stays healthy, he could take the Knicks to the finals.
I'd be more willing to take a chance on Zion than I would Paul George.
Really?
Yeah.
Paul George, who doesn't have like, in theory, can stay. In theory, Zion is a time bomb versus Paul George is like he's a guy that'll play you probably 60 games a season.
Well, he hasn't played 60 games in a season since 2019.
How many games did he play last year?
Last year was 40. Let me look it up real quick. But
so play him for the last 40 games of the year.
I mean, if only it worked like that. No, last year he played 56.
Yeah, I thought he was more healthy. So
Before that,
56, 31, 54.
48.
We're in the 50 to 60 games you can get from him.
I mean, you keep saying 60. He hasn't played 60 since 2019.
You don't think he would get healthier when Tibbs plays him 45 minutes a game?
Yeah, it's not great.
We have some questions, Jay.
And he'll be 34 this season, by the way.
Do you think the Knicks are even going to make? Are they going to swing a trade? Forget like these. I'm just giving some players out, but obviously there are other players out there as well. Will the Knicks at any point trade 4 first-round picks, some pick swaps, just like a huge deal? Will the Knicks make a huge deal this year, next year? Do you see this trade? Is our front office actually ready to pull a trigger on this kind of thing?
No, I don't think they are. I think they're keeping Fournier in case they do, but I don't think they're going to.
It seems really unlikely this is happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
Everyone is going to, anyone available, you can talk yourself out of anyone available, so the Knicks are never going to swing the trade.
Yeah.
It's almost like once they didn't trade for Donovan Mitchell, they're just not trading for anyone.
Exactly.
Okay. Daniel writes on Facebook, will Fournier see his minutes this season before will Fournier play minutes this season before the trade deadline? Barring injury, forget injury.
He'll play minutes, but I don't think he's going to be a part of the main rotation.
Outside of injury, I don't think he makes the rotation anytime soon.
I think he's like McBride, where the Knicks are up by 20. He'll play the last 3 minutes of the game.
I want to say, I didn't say like it was his fault the team was playing poorly. It's just that once you find a rotation that works better and he wasn't involved, it's hard to force him back in when you're like, well, this is already working for us.
Agreed. My
And
only argument would be that the Knicks still don't have consistent 3-point shooters. If RJ and IQ and Grimes get more consistent from the three, we'll never see Fournier. But
I mean,
as long as they're still so streaky, I feel like maybe situationally you would need a guy who can actually hit a shot.
I mean, that's definitely true. He's a good 3-point shooter. It should be an asset. It should somehow. It's amazing that with his skill set, he can't seem to break into this lineup or this rotation.
Cape writes, is Brunson an all-star this year?
Yes. I'm not going to go through who's ahead. I mean, I guess Dame is ahead of him now also in the it's a tough path to making the All-Star game, but I think he will.
I think if he doesn't, it's a fail on New York because you could just vote him in. And it's the biggest market. Like, it should be a given. There's an
He's
all-star
not exactly a
caliber
polarizing player in New York. It's not like Randall when not everyone loves him here.
Right.
Every Knicks fan loves Brunson.
Exactly. There's no reason he should not be an all-star based on that.
Right. You're right. You're not like your point is that basically there's no one that should get more votes for him for point guard in like the East because the Knicks fans these are the best fit Knicks fans. They're the best NBA fans,
It's
basically.
the biggest market, the best fans, and it's not like they would be voting for somebody who doesn't deserve it. Like if he doesn't make the All-Star team, he's probably on the list of snubs, the whatever article comes out the next day. So yeah, he should be there.
This is my own question for you, Jay. Will Randall be the first Knicks? Actually, I don't know if he's first. I'm not first, but not first. But would he be would he be the first 3-time Knicks All-Star that fans still think is a scrub?
It's amazing because they think scrubs are all-stars, but then we have an actual all-star and they're like, yeah, he's got to go. Cancer to the team.
Can I tell you something shocking, Jay?
Yeah.
I saw you know the result because I said it's shocking, but I saw this on Reddit and someone put a poll up. It said, which player is more untouchable? It was 2 Knicks. Mm-hmm. There were 346 votes. Mm-hmm. It was between RJ and Randall.
I know RJ won. It's absolute insanity.
What do you say?
RJ definitely won the poll, but it's insanity.
Why is it insanity?
Because he's not more untouchable.
Okay. So on Knicks Reddit, Randall crushed RJ.
Okay. Well, that's Reddit.
It was 245 votes to 101.
Okay.
There were still more hours in the poll, but I kind of just took a picture of the poll at that point.
Yeah.
But basically I'm like, oh, I guess Knicks Reddit, they're a little more sane fans.
Yeah. What was the other one? Facebook?
This was the same. This was just Knicks Reddit. This was just Reddit.
No. What was the one that RJ won?
You made it up.
Oh, I'm tired.
I asked you the question, and you just said RJ won, and I was like, okay, why'd RJ win? Then I pointed out that Randall actually.
I thought you saw it in 2 different places, and it was 2 different.
Results. No.
I'm delirious at this point.
Patrick writes, DiVincenzo played like if Fournier actually did what Tibbs wanted. Do you think we are better than last year?
I do, because the Knicks still, their entire 9-man rotation is still under 30, so you're not going to get like the age-related drop-off. And they added Dante, and in theory, IQ, Grimes, RJ, and Mitch should all be better. I'm actually expecting Brunson to be better.
I mean, first, everyone played together a full season last year. Cohesion, continuity makes players better. They know each other better on the court.
Yeah, that's it.
Most guys get better until age 28, 29. It's around when you peak NBA skills. Mm-hmm. The whole roster is still rising in theory. Like even Randall could get a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And as much as we liked Obi, his place in the rotation being taken by Dante DiVincenzo, you have a guy that's just a better fit for the team.
A better player.
I mean, a better player. I mean, DiVincenzo he's a better 3-point shooter. He can play. He's better on defense. He's a better all-around player. Yeah, it's this team should be better. I mean, I don't know how much better. I don't know where they go, but they should be better than last season.
John says he's concerned that RJ may have peaked already at 23 years old.
Aren't we all concerned?
Yes.
I think most guys don't take huge leaps. I think they get incrementally better. RJ can get incrementally better from here and be what does RJ do well, Jay?
he drives to the basket well.
Yeah, he drives the basket well. Then what's coupled with that? He gets to the free throw line.
Mhm.
He's really good at getting to the free throw line.
Yes.
He's that is maybe his. Would you say that's his best skill? Is actually getting to the free throw line?
By far. I mean, he's not. Being honest, he's not like great at anything else.
No,
Not that he's terrible at anything else, but I wouldn't say like, look at all those rebounds RJ's getting. Like
last year, he got to the free throw line 5.4 times a game. The year before that was 5.8. Ideally, he can get to like six free throws a game if he's really driving. And also, his free throw percentage has actually gone up.
Mm-hmm.
Like he went up the year before was 714. Last year was 740. If he can shoot 78% or something like that, he becomes he adds a lot to the team.
Yeah.
Like he becomes a better offensive player because he can get to the free throw line and hit his free throws. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, there's a lot more shooters in theory on this team.
Yeah.
And in the rotation. So he did a really nice drive and kick out in the first preseason game. I'd like to see more of that too. I'd like to see the Knicks not last in the league in assists.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is the Knicks. So what's more important? The Knicks were 4th in offensive efficiency and like near last in 3-point in assists. Like, which one's more important of a stat?
I mean, offensive efficiency is more important, but
I mean, obviously you'd like it to look pretty, and obviously getting past the ball would be helpful, but even if ISO is not pretty, if it works for them, it works for them.
Yeah, I just feel like in the playoffs, if you're not passing, you're a lot easier to figure out.
Yeah, but that's not why they really lost in the playoffs.
No, they lost because the entire team could not shoot for an entire series. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, there was a lot more wrong.
And Miami,
I'm just saying,
everybody just caught fire.
Actually, a shout out to Nick's recap. He had Charlie Ward on the show, and Charlie Ward commented that he really doesn't like Randall's ISO heavy offense, and like it's not pretty when they don't really pass the ball.
Yeah, nobody really likes that.
Yeah, I feel like that's like awesome. They got Charlie Ward. I don't think it's really shocking comments that Charlie Ward, a point guard, wouldn't like an ISO heavy offense.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it did. If you're 4th in efficiency, it worked pretty well for your team.
Yeah, but
it's hard to argue that it didn't work well overall.
Overall, it worked well, but it would work better if they mixed it up a little bit.
I mean, obviously. Anyway, I feel like the team is better. Sean writes, Ayton for Mitch and Hardenstein. Add DeRozan for Evan Filler and picks.
I don't think DeRozan would go that cheap.
Yeah, I don't know why Chicago was just like giving. I guess the picks part of it, you're going to have to give like 2 first-round picks to Chicago to get DeRozan.
Yeah, not at 35 years old.
Yeah.
And what was the other? Ayton for Mitch and who?
And Hardenstein. Do you think Phoenix? I feel like Phoenix. I mean, not. He went to Portland. Sorry.
John said block Sean.
What do you say?
John said block Sean.
I feel like Portland probably wants to keep Ayton. I feel like that was their prize in the Dame trade.
Yes, I also don't like trading Mitch and his backup because now you're depending on Sims, and I'm not sold on Sims getting huge minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I get like if the offer really was Ayton for Mitch and Hart, I would definitely think about it and maybe do it. But I just would be shocked if Portland after trading for Ayton would put him on the table.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
I think they would like they got Scoot. They feel like they're going to develop this center with him. Like
Ayton seems psyched to not be on Phoenix too.
That Phoenix environment must be awesome.
Yeah.
Frank writes, now that Obi and Cam Reddish have been released from under the thumb of Tom Thibodeau, how many league MVP awards and all-star appearances do you predict for them?
They're just going to alternate for the next decade.
I think someone posted a video of Cam from preseason with like the headline, "This can't be for real."
His first preseason game was, oh my God. You know those Westbrook bricks that hit like the side of the backboard or like 3 feet off? That was like every Cam shot. There was turnovers.
In defense, Cam last year in the preseason, if you remember, was horrific. He was
Mm-hmm.
terrible. And then game 1 of the season, he actually was pretty good.
Yeah.
Remember he had a good game against Memphis in the opener?
Yeah. No, I remember. Yeah.
For a little while, like briefly for a week or so, we were like, this guy Cam, maybe he can be someone. Be something.
Mm-hmm.
Bren writes, who is going to break out, this from Twitter, who's going to break out or have the most improvement?
Most improvement breakout. I would say probably Grimes.
Yeah, I think I said Grimes last week. I think we covered this last week, but I'm going to change my answer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say if he stays healthy, I think Mitch. I think Robinson is going to feel like, I feel like he seems to, like, he was like beast mode that whole Cleveland series.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to get more beast mode of Mitch all season. I think he's going to be a really tough guy for teams to deal with.
So, do you think he's going to develop an offensive game too?
I think he's going to be such a force on defense, and with throwing down lobs, I don't think he's going to do much else, like in terms of offense, but I think he's going to be a problem for most teams.
I mean, there's enough offenses on the team that he can get away with that. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't think you need him. You need him getting the offensive rebounds. You need him like doing the dunks, and need him playing stellar defense. That's what you need, and not getting in the foul trouble.
Yes. Well, he was good with that last season.
Yeah, no, he's gotten a lot better at that. Jay, so it looks like the Knicks are not planning on signing IQ before the season. Mistake?
No, I don't think it's a huge mistake.
He looked, by the way, we didn't talk about it. He had a really good preseason game.
He did.
The beginning of the game, I felt like he was chucking some shots up, and I was like, oh, we're going back to IQ, the chucker.
Mm-hmm.
Then he actually had a really good game.
Yeah, no, he ended up looking really good.
There was one sequence, though, which was kind of hilarious, where like he stole the ball from Peyton Pritchard. I think it was from Peyton Pritchard. Then the ball got stolen back from IQ. Then IQ went back and stole the ball, and the ball got stolen back from IQ. If you remember, like just back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think IQ, if you can get him for 4 for 80 right now, do you think he plays a good enough season that it's going to contract's going to be worth more?
No. No. I'm not as high on IQ as a bunch of other people. I think he's fine, but I don't think he's going to play himself into this massive contract.
I mean, he could get 4 years, 100 or something, but which is not a massive increase. I guess also if you're planning on doing this trade that's never going to happen, IQ may be a guy that you trade in that trade to make the team better. And having a guy like Dante DiVincenzo on the team as a guy who can replace IQ is maybe a thought they have in their mind.
Maybe.
Just like having more, like you can, that way you can trade one of the guards now. Maybe IQ. Maybe you don't sign IQ because you don't want to have another contract that's hard to move in a trade. You have 4 days contract, and IQ could be like a centerpiece or a big part of the contract, like a player the teams want.
Yeah, I mean, I like IQ. I don't think he's going to make this huge leap where it's going to screw the Knicks and they're going to have to fork over so much more money.
You think
I
he's
think gives some flexibility if he doesn't look good.
Yeah, options. You have options. You don't have to sign him. You can always match a contract next year. Do you think he's in the running top? Will he have a top 3 finish for? I'll give you some questions for the season. IQ top 3 finish for sixth man of the year again.
Very possible. I mean, I know I just said like I'm not that high on him, but he's gonna get a chance. He's gonna get a lot of minutes.
Randall, all-star again.
Yes, he's gonna break his back and forth every other season being good streak, and he's gonna have back-to-back good seasons.
Mitchell Robinson, top 3 defensive player of the year.
No. Not because I don't think he's gonna be that good. I just think he's kind of under the radar, and people are focusing more on Triple J in Memphis and Jarrett Allen in Cleveland, and you still have.
How does Jarrett Allen win it? Like, we saw Mitchell eat his lunch in the playoffs. Jarrett Allen cannot win it.
I know. And then you still have Embiid and Giannis, and like it's pretty stacked.
RJ Barrett, 38% from three this year.
38.
So he previously shot 40% 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not last year, though.
No, not last year.
Definitely not last year.
I would say no.
It was 3 years ago, I guess. Three
I
years
would
ago.
be very happy if he shot like he did 3 years ago. But yeah, last season he shot 31?
31 last year, 34% the year before.
Not good.
And then, not good.
Going from 31 to 38 would be a huge, huge increase.
That would be a huge increase. Randall, 38% from three. Also, Randall, 3 years ago, shot 40% from three.
Yeah, I don't think he does it either. I mean, if either of them do that, it's huge. But would Randall shoot 34? I mean, it's not a huge increase, but like he's been pretty consistently not great from three.
Except for 3 years ago when he shot 40%.
Yeah, but
I don't know how they did it for the full season, but they all did it for a full season.
But 7 out of his other 7 years, he shot well below league average.
I would take 34 to 35% from RJ and Randall. That'd be 35% from both those guys would be pretty solid.
35 would be fine. Yeah.
Yeah. What else? Tibbs, Coach of the Year, top 3 finish.
It's possible. I mean, top 3, I think right now I have the Knicks in 4th. So 3 is in the cards.
I see. It seems very unlikely. It seems like the Knicks aren't going to play that much better. Like they're not going to have the Knicks have to win 50 games for him to be in the running for that.
What if somebody?
It's not crazy.
What if somebody on Boston or Milwaukee gets injured? Those are very thin teams now, and the Knicks move ahead of them.
I mean, I don't know who besides KP would get injured on Boston.
Not a 37-year-old center.
No, that's probably unlikely. But Dame, Dave Drew Holiday, maybe they have some injury risks there.
They have
older
3
players
in their starting lineup. It's not
hey,
great.
so let's move past the Knicks for a second. So we saw Chet play, or I didn't see, but I saw the highlights from Chet playing Wembayama.
Mm-hmm.
How excited are you for those guys?
Pretty excited. I mean, Wembayama stole the ball at the free throw line from the 3-point line. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw the highlights. The stuff they did. Like, I really wish I got to watch the game. I'm too cheap to pay for the NBA package, but I almost want to pay for it just to watch Wembayama play. And Chet also. Chet looks kind of awesome also.
Yeah, I thought he wasn't going to transition Wembanyama. I don't know why, but I just thought he wasn't going to transition as fluidly. But he looked awesome in that first game. It
should be interesting to him when he plays against bigger centers, not bigger than him, but like just bigger centers.
Yeah.
It should be interesting to see how they what strategies they use to keep him under control.
Mm-hmm.
But his reach is insane.
Yeah,
and he's super athletic. He's going to be a problem. What other storylines or what other things are you got? Let's say you have the NBA package. What other teams are you dying to watch? For what reasons?
Well, West is always interesting. I want to see Golden State try and insert Chris Paul into the starting lineup and have like an all 6'7" or under starting lineup. I want to see how that works.
I'm kind of dying to see how Bradley Beal works out. I don't think he will work out that amazingly, but I'm really want to see how that works.
Yeah.
Dame, I clearly want to see Dame with Milwaukee. See how that goes.
Yes, I want to see how it goes, but I'm not like, I got to see that team.
I'm pretty interested in watching that. I don't want to watch these games, but I want to see the highlights after they don't work out with Harden, and I want to see highlights from Harden moping on the court for Philly and just throwing games.
Yeah. Yep. John said Portland. Portland could be a fun, like scrappy team. I don't think they're gonna win a ton of games, but I think they're gonna be fun to watch.
I mean, Scoot, people have been talking about him for a long time, and the guy might be like, he's supposed to be really good. So it's always fun to watch young players that are like going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Denver also just coming off the title, like they're just still fun to watch. But if you're gonna rank your non-Knicks teams just for like games I really want to watch early in the season, not like who versus who, but just what teams you want to watch. I think because of Wembayama, I think San Antonio is the number one team I want to watch when the Knicks aren't on.
I do want to see Thunder.
Not just Chet.
Not just because of Chet. I mean, I think Giddey got a lot better last year. He might be one guy who's just going to get better and better each year. You got Shea. I mean,
Jalen Williams, the guy the Knicks should have drafted.
Yep.
They got a young and they were good last year. They might be kind of awesome this year. I mean, not like
they're a team.
We haven't done our preview show yet, but like they might be like a fifth seed.
Yeah.
They're going to surprise some people. I mean, like I think Chet's going to make a huge difference on the court for them.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Mostly just West Coast teams. Memphis.
Before or after Ja gets back?
I mean, both. I mean, it's just like it's kind of funny. I want to see how they look.
Hey, you posted on the thing on our sheet for the show the ESPN top 100 players this season. You do not like where Brunson and Randall were ranked?
I thought it was fine. Okay. I just wanted to comment how many players the Knicks had in the top 100.
How many?
6.
I guess anyone surprised? I guess there's no surprises there, obviously.
I mean,
they're
6
starters plus IQ, right?
6 in the top 100 is it's pretty good. I mean, if you average out 30 teams, each team averages 3.3. So having 6 is good.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Knicks are getting this is the I mean, you could argue about the 54-win team, but I like this is the best sustained success the Knicks have. This should be the best team the Knicks have this coming season.
If you didn't
while we've done the show at least.
If you didn't see the top 100 players article, I'm going by memory, so I might be a little off, but Brunson was 32. Randall was like 44, I think.
Seems reasonable.
RJ was 72. Hart 91.
Mitch.
IQ 90. Was it IQ? It was.
Okay.
Yeah, IQ 92 and Mitch 100.
I could put Mitch higher than 100, but whatever. You can argue with where some of the guys are.
I think some people got annoyed because Jared Allen was 50, and they're saying he's not 50 spots better than Mitch.
I'm pretty sure before one of the playoff games last year, if you just said to Cleveland, we'll give you Mitch for Jared Allen and a draft pick, Cleveland would say yes.
Yeah.
We'll throw in a draft pick so we can try to win this series.
So our email is nyknickspodcast@gmail.com or nyknickspodcast on Instagram and Twitter and our new Facebook
or
account.
X. What about X?
Yeah, or that. Our new YouTube channel is at nyknickspodcast, and if you want to follow us on Twitch, it is Crumpled Bacon on Twitch.
Okay, and what's your home address?
Got to buy a shirt to find out my address.
If you buy a shirt, Jay will give you his home address, and you can come murder him. So it's only the cost of $10 to murder Jay.
And we literally
plus the cost of transportation.
The NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com is where you can get shirts. There's literally one left.
We could, if this one sells, you can set it up like a store where like people they print on demand if you want.
Yes, the price goes up.
There's no need to do that. But
so this is your last chance to get a cheap shirt because when you do the print on demand, it like doubles the price.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Anyway, next week, Kai Jones joins the show because that's the only job you could get in the NBA.
He'll be our new co-host. So Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be doing the Fantasy Draft podcast. So,
awesome. Is Martin going to join you? Because I'm probably not.
Yeah.
I have a wedding actually this Saturday.
Martin's going to join. So stay tuned for that. I will be trying to draft and podcast at the same time. Not easy. And we're doing auction style. So,
Awesome.
Always gets a little crazy. So, yeah, thanks for listening. Thank you, everybody who joined the chat. And we will be back. I'll be back Saturday, and we will be back in a few days after that.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you